Hello guys. So I've probably extracted in more than 100 rounds of DMZ, and I've learned quite a few tricks to stay alive and get missions done. I want to go through the entire process of a round of DMZ from the lobby to extracting to give you the best chance of surviving your DMZ runs. If anything from this video helps you at any point, please make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing for more DMZ content and guides. Anyway, let's get straight into it with loading into a DMZ match. Let's say you get your group or you're just ready to play, you pick your first missions, and then you can pick your loadout. And obviously you're going to take in the best gun that you have, right? Wrong. When you first spawn in DMZ, whether first time or just after dying, you start with nothing. No plate vest, no self-revive, no maidens. You will die to basic AI and almost any player if you end up in an unlucky fight without at least a 2-plate vest or a self-revive. Do not take in your custom insured weapon slot straight away. If you die with that gun with no plates, you won't be able to get it back for hours. And that means you'll want to take in a basic gun that you have in your stash or go in with nothing so that you lose nothing. You could also get a mate to drop you a gun. Then make sure you and your squad have similar missions selected and then matchmake. Don't worry too much about keys this early on. Your first job in DMZ after dying or the first time playing is to find a 2 or 3 plate vest or get hold of a self-revive or both. Avoid fighting literally everyone on the map, players and AI, until you have one of these items. Now, depending on where you spawn on the map, there are 2 things you want to look out for. A shop, so you can sell items and buy gear, or one of these specific armory buildings. For some reason, these buildings specifically have a higher chance of better loot, so armor, weapons, and of course a guaranteed ammo box as well. It's always worth checking out these buildings as fast as possible to find the best loot. Now, if these armory buildings aren't an option, then check your map for the nearest buy station and start looting the most expensive items you can find on the way. Avoid filling your bag with anything lower than $500 items unless you need them for quests. Also, almost every building has these health cabinets. These commonly contain self-revives and revive pistols, which also act as self-revives. Once your bag has a couple of nice items to sell, head to the buy station, quickly sell the items you found, and buy these items in order of importance. A 2-plate vest if you don't have one, and then maximum armor plates to fill your inventory. If you have more money left over, you can get a self-revive, and then after that, a medium backpack as well. If you found really expensive items to sell, then a 3-plate vest or large bag could also be good. By this point, you should have a decent armor vest, plates, and maybe a self-revive with a larger bag. Only now are you ready to start doing your tasks, fighting AI or players in DMZ. You should not try and fight them before this point. Now, check the timing of the match left. If it's more than 10 minutes, you've probably got enough time to start one of your quests. However, if the timer is less than 5 minutes left, you should just extract with the gear that you've earned. Now, whatever you do, try and prioritize finding the most armored vehicle or helicopter to carry out your tasks or extract. Try and avoid taking the ATV or the open-top Jeep vehicles. The more covered the vehicle is, the better. If you have a vehicle and decide to extract, head straight for the extraction zones. Once you get close, make sure to use the third-person camera of the vehicle to check the area. If the extraction area has a green flare above it, then that means there are players already there. If they're running in the open without cover, sure, see if you can take them out and take their loot before you leave. However, if they are hidden and you can see the flare, then it's much better to find a safer extract, or wait for them to leave and call in another chopper at the same location. When heading to the extraction zone with your vehicle, drive around the extraction area with your vehicle for around 30 seconds before jumping out of the green smoke. You just need to make sure that there aren't any players planning to ambush you. If you get shot at by AI, you can probably ignore them, or you can run them over. However, if you get shot at by players, then a grey hit marker direction will appear on your screen. This probably again means that the extraction is not safe, so you should drive away and reposition. However, if you think the extract area is safe, drive up to the green smoke, jump out of the vehicle quickly, and interact with the green smoke to cool in your chopper, and immediately jump straight back in your vehicle. Start driving around and just use the third-person camera of the vehicle to continuously check that you're safe. Continually use the vehicle as cover and also to run over AI that you encounter. Just keep driving around in the vehicle for as long as you can until the helicopter arrives, and then as soon as it lands, jump on the helicopter with you or your squad and it will leave after 5 seconds if everyone's on board. Don't just sit lying still in the center of the helicopter. Keep checking the angles and the doors of the helicopter constantly to make sure you don't have any stowaways and avoid getting sniped before you leave. I've died so many times to random players jumping in behind me and killing me 1 second before leaving. Now, the helicopter lifts off the ground, and once you're high enough, you can relax. Congratulations, you've just extracted, and now you have way better gear than what you went in with, even if you didn't complete any missions. So now you're back on the menu, drop off any extra guns or keys you don't need, pick some new missions if you completed them. Now is the time to take in your custom insured weapon. For DMZ, what you want is an all-round weapon with a high capacity magazine, ideally mid-range as that's where most of your fights are going to take place, and then a suppressor as AI ignore suppressed shots at a longer range. Load into a match, and this time you should have the basics you need to fight everyone. Now you're ready to try and complete harder missions as soon as the round starts. Your first priority though, even with good gear in a new round, is to get as many armor plates as you can and find a vehicle. Start heading to the closest vehicle whilst looting, and if you don't loot enough plates as you need, find a buy station close by, get to it with your vehicle, and buy as many plates as you can fit in your bag. Armor plates are the #1 thing you need to keep up in your inventory. I would recommend at least 6 before a mission, no matter the size of your bag. Now once you have spare plates in a vehicle, you can go and do your objectives. When you're fighting AI, do not fight them in the open. Use cover and make them push you in the buildings. As soon as you lose your plates, get into cover and fully plate each time. AI can sometimes randomly one-shot you, even with 1 plate. And that's obviously why you should never fight before you gear up anyway. Always keep moving between the cover and the buildings. Try not to be running in the open. The AI will continually spawn if you stay in one place. They're never going to stop. So try not to get stuck in one area. Now, if you get shot by players or you see players in your vicinity, always make sure you have the positional advantage. This game is all about positioning and avoiding the AI in PvP fights. The best thing you can do in any player engagement is to get height and find good cover. Of course, the tops of buildings guarantee the best position. You're away from the AI harassment and you can't be finished if a player downs you from lower down. If you are in a worse position than the enemy players without cover or they have height on you, always reposition or just get out of there. Even if you manage to down them from your worst position, they can easily recover and still win the fight. Or you can get harassed by AI halfway through. If you do manage to get a better position and down a player, see if you can finish the kill, but remember to focus on the teammates first. Don't just tunnel vision and focus on that one player that you downed. Always focus on winning the fight as a whole. See what their teammates do from your defensive position, and if nothing happens for a while, then you can go check the bodies and keep an eye out. Try and loot their bodies as quickly as possible, especially in the open. The number of times you just see people standing around organizing loot gets them killed constantly. You can actually stick their spare guns in your bag on top of the 2 weapons you can carry if you have a medium or large backpack. So always try and extract with additional guns in your bag, even basic ones, just so you have more in your stash for later runs. Also, keep in mind that you can revive your teammates at any time. So if you think you're not strong enough to come back and revive your teammate now, just fully back out and come back later when it's safer. So many players just fight unwinnable fights and then just wipe the entire squad. So by now, you've probably killed some players, maybe completed some quests, and you've got some way better weapons that you want to extract. Even if the round is far from over, don't get greedy and stay as long as possible. If you feel like you have some great loot, or you've achieved some progress, it's probably best to get out of there. So you're probably thinking, well, let's just find an extraction zone. Sure, you could extract using the method that I outlined earlier, but one of the safest ways to extract in this game is actually to use a hostage contract. Now you have good guns and gear, you can fight your way through a hostage contract and extract using the chopper that comes as part of the mission. So try and find a hostage contract on the outskirts of the map to avoid players. Shoot as many AI as you can through the windows first before you breach the building, and be careful as the AI are extremely strong in these buildings, which is why I don't recommend doing this on your first run without gear. You can then defuse the bomb, grab the hostage, a new extraction zone will be marked on your map, and you can simply run to it or jump on a car to get there quickly. Once at the helicopter, drop the hostage in there, and after 5 seconds, you'll extract just like normal. And there it is, the safest way to extract in the middle of a round without attracting too much attention. But let's just say that you couldn't find a hostage contract and you've stayed in the round a little bit too long. And now the hazardous zone, is expanding already. If there's no hostage contracts nearby, you are now forced to extract at one of the global 3 extracts. As the hazardous gas passes over these zones, they will become unusable. An extraction zone is only possible to be used if the hazardous area is at least more than 200 meters away. Anything after that and the helicopter won't arrive. Sometimes you can grab the extraction just as the gas washes over you in the chopper, but if not, you need to head to the others. If you do get caught in the gas, then hopefully you found a gas mask or radiation pills, and you can actually be in the gas for a really long time with these items. But let's say you're heading to the last available extract on the map, but it's too dangerous to take it or it disappears to the gas. That's okay, because towards the end of the countdown, there is one final extraction that leaves exactly when the timer runs down. Now this is the riskiest extract to take, as all the players on the map have to take this extraction, which means you need to be extra careful when you're trying to do this method. Use the vehicle method that I mentioned previously. You don't have to interact with anything for this one, the helicopter should just arrive on its own. And don't jump into the chopper until the very last moment. If you're sitting in the chopper for a long time before it leaves, other players can very easily get a position and take you out before you go. Once there is about 30 seconds left, use everything you can to take out the remaining players around the chopper. Kill streaks, grenades, throw everything you have at them, as after that you've literally got nothing to lose. Hopefully you win the fight and you can simply walk on the chopper in the last 5 and 10 seconds and get out. And don't worry if you get downed on the helicopter. Even if you're downed but not finished, you can actually still extract. And as a complete last resort, you can even try to hang off the side or the front of the helicopter, because you can still extract as long as you're on the heli. And there you go. Hopefully, you get that final extraction and get out of there with everything that you wanted. Now, I just want to summarize everything I've mentioned in this video. So first, don't take your best guns in with no armor vest or self-res. Do not fight players or AI at all if you don't have the first basic gear. Focus on getting a decent armored vehicle to move around the map and stack up on armor plates. Try and have more armor plates than any other item that you're carrying. Use vehicles for everything, literally everything. Anything you're trying to do, always have a vehicle. Do not get greedy with loot or quest objectives. If you feel like you've made progress in some way, just get out and take your gains. And lastly, always try and use the safest extractions available, ideally hostage contracts, and try and avoid fighting players at the extract. If it's not safe, just find another way. And that just about covers the basics of surviving DMZ mode. If you think I missed something or you have some tips of your own, just put them down in the comments and help someone else. Hopefully this video helps you, and if it did, give it a like and consider subscribing. These videos take a lot of time to put together, and I'm going to be uploading much more DMZ content in future. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Cheers.